In the Johannesburg studio is Malcolm Riley, who's an equity analyst at Merchantech, the company behind this index. Malcolm, this isn't just about the JSE, is it? I mean, there must be something more to it, because I noticed that you make quite a lot about the fact that 60% of CEOs, it's saying here, are positive that the JSE will reach an all-time record high by 2013.
Yes, they are quite positive about reaching the all-time high, well, above the all-time high. It does look positive, or the prospects for the technological industry and basic material sector. And yes, I mean, overall confidence seems to be on the increase. Particularly, I guess there are quite a few factors that are contributing to it, particularly the China and US stimulus, and maybe overall CEOs are more positive about confidence in the long run.
Let's take a look at the figures, because we've had their confidence rising by 11.5%, and that from 52 to an overall score of 58 points here. Were you surprised by the kind of confidence levels that have come through here?
Yes, I was surprised to a certain extent, because the JSE has reached an all-time high, and reaching a higher level than it's already been sort of indicates that there's still some investor sentiment, and there's the possibility that CEOs are more positive about the prospects of companies in our country. And also, ultimately, I mean, all the companies in the world, they're aiming to recover the stimulus. They're trying to actually inject their countries with more cash to support the economies. So overall, it looks positive. Yeah.
One thing that worries me about the index, although I think it is a very worthy index and quite interesting to analyse, Malcolm, is the fact that if you're a CEO, you're naturally bullish. I mean, you're not going to shoot yourself in the foot by saying, actually, you know, I think things are going pretty badly, because A, you'll raise eyebrows, and B, shareholders will get scared.
Yes, I do understand that CEOs, yes, they would be more positive about the prospects of their companies, but I guess it's the increase that counts. So when CEOs are more positive than what they've been in the past, could indicate that there's an increase in confidence, as opposed to the confidence that it has been in the past.
We've been talking about confidence levels under this broad umbrella of CEOs. Is this sector specific, or is it confidence that's filtering through across the board? Well,
it's confidence filtering across the board, particularly in the technological stocks. Technological stocks have been looking more confident, and then the basic materials, they're also more confident about basic materials. And I guess that could also be based on stimulus in China that normally causes commodity prices to rise above where they would normally be, as in the cash and the liquidity in the market could potentially cause it to rise at a higher level.
Malcolm, we've talked about the confidence side of the CEOs, which is, and I think naturally their side is for reasons that I've already mentioned. But there were any pockets of negativity?
There was a very small amount of negativity. It was overall confident. All sectors showed some form of confidence.
Yeah, you highlight that confidence has been given a boost because of global factors primarily that are at play. What about domestic issues, and how much of a swing factor is that?
It is quite a substantial swing factor, and I do believe that the labour strikes have already occurred. There's a potential that maybe they won't occur as badly as they've happened in the past, and also there's the possibility of an interest rate cut, which I think is a good idea.
Do you see that coming through? Because of course that recommendation being made by the OECD.
I do believe it's a good idea to go for it. I mean, they are quite a very well-known research company that do have a good understanding of the economy in South Africa, and I do believe that their perspective plays a good part.
Malcolm, we've seen some good numbers coming out of the JSE. I mean, notably this morning from MMI, for example, and yesterday from FirstRand. When the CEOs respond to your survey, do you think that they look at their own specific corporate situation, or do some look back at, for example, last week's budget, which to many people was a fairly sort of muted affair, and do they have a look at the macro situation in South Africa and weigh it up against their own, as I say, company situations?
Well, overall, I believe they look at economic conditions, company growth prospects, industry prospects. So looking forwards, I believe they actually have a perspective of maybe a year looking forwards. That's how I would see the CEOs actually anticipating the market going.